Hi everybody. I was going to make this video a while back, but then when I got up this morning and I saw the snow and I realized how quick life changes, I thought I would do it today. Just think, last week we were in the 60s and 70s, and if somebody would have told us we'd have this much snow on the Saturday, we wouldn't have believed it. So we all know how God works. About a month ago, some of you know and some of you don't know. My immediate family, my sisters, my brothers, some of my closest friends, they know. But I got up. Well, one Sunday, Greg and I went to Lowe's. I didn't think anything of it. I know for me to walk from the store to the car, I was out of breath. But, I didn't think, never in my wildest dream did I think what was going to happen to me. So I just took it as I need to get back on my workout routine. I hadn't been working out as much. So after that, there we go. That Tuesday, I went, and that Tuesday night, no. That Monday night, I went downstairs and I got on the elliptical. But after about 5 minutes, I realized that I was out of breath. Being who I am, I just continued to push forward. It ended up doing 30 minutes. Went to bed, still didn't think anything of it. Got up that Tuesday morning and I had the worst headache in my life. I thought maybe it was because of the carbs, or because I was trying to come off carbs, changing my eating habits, couldn't really figure out which direction I wanted to go in. So proceeded to go to work. And I noticed I had pain in my left arm, but I thought it was coming from the surgery that I had years ago on my rotator cuff. Stayed at work, but I also realized that I felt pressure on my chest. Still, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, I pressed forward because I knew I had to go to work, I had things to do. Went ahead and went to work. So as time went by that day, I know the pressure on my chest was not letting up, and I started breaking out in sweat pebbles. So I went and told my supervisor that I needed to go to the doctor, call my doctor. They told me to go ahead and come in. Went to the doctor. And she told me, well, Miss Hunter, just sit right there for a minute. We're going to check your blood pressure again. That can't be right. So I stayed there. Anyway, my blood pressure was 240 over 150. Me still not thinking what was getting ready to happen to me. So she said, well, by law, we need to call an ambulance because of your blood pressure. And anybody that knows, Long Street is just right across the street from the hospital. And I'm like, no, ma'am. I'll sign a consent form and I'll just drive myself to the hospital. So that's what I did. Still not thinking how my life was going to change on that day. So I went up to Northeast Georgia, and everybody and their mama was there for the flu. So went in a way, I stayed. They did an EKG, showed up nothing. So I still felt that pressure on my chest, the head was hurting. And maybe an hour after I got there, the doctors came back after they took my blood. And they said, Miss Hunter, you're having a heart attack. You've had a heart attack. And I was like, me? Never had any sign, no warning signs or anything. So I said, okay. So they gave me 3 nitroglycerin pills. They put me in the cardiac care unit. By this time, I hadn't called any of my family because I didn't want them to worry. I mean, I felt fine and, just a headache or whatever. So that Wednesday, my husband and I, we were sitting there and they said, we're going to take you down put the dye in you just to see, but we don't think you're going to have any blockages. We just want to make sure that everything is okay. So I said, okay, me still had not called my family. So I went in surgery, and the cardiologist told me, well, Miss Hunter, you have um, one blockage is 80, two 70s, a 40, and a 50. I'm laying there in disbelief, considering I was already under a little meds to relax me because they don't put you to sleep. She said, the one that caused you the heart attack, we're going to fix. I said, okay, no problem. Not knowing that wasn't the end of it. I noticed while I was on the table, my vision started to change. But I thought maybe it was the medicine or whatever. So I got back to the room, and my girlfriend, Anita Haynes, Lily, hey boo, she was in there. My husband was in there. So by this time, he had left, and she stayed there with me. He had to go get Micah. And the nurse was there, and I kept asking them, why do I have double vision? I mean, it just, something didn't settle with me. And so the nurse told me, just take a nap. It's just the medicine, take a nap. And when I tell you God put people in place for a reason, had it not been for Anita Haynes, who knows what would have happened? She was persistent in telling the nurse, that don't sound right. The nurse just kept telling me, turn over, take a nap, go to sleep, you'll wake up, you'll feel better. Double vision was still there. So after about 20 minutes, the cardiologist came in, and the neurologist asked, how was I doing? And Lily asked, why do I have double vision? And the nurse never called and told anybody about my double vision. And see, prior to that, they had already started me on blood thinner because of my heart attack. So the head neurologist rushed in and said, Miss Hunter, we think you're having a stroke. I'm laying there in disbelief. So by this time, they called in whatever crash unit they had to call in, rushed me down to CAT scan, and from there I proceeded to go to ICU. See, the reason why I'm telling my story today, because see, a lot of people think, even I thought that couldn't happen to me because I worked out. I mean, I watched what I ate, but I was advocate boot camp, never had any signs, never had any symptoms. Only because I decided to pay attention to my body, I saved my life. I was in ICU, and the head nurse that had been there with me was coming in. They was getting ready to move me out to the stroke floor. Came to tell me bye, and I proceeded to tell him thank you for saving my life. He said, Miss Hunter, he said, I'm going to be honest with you. Not many people live to tell your story. You suffered a heart attack and a stroke, all in less than 24 hours. And by the grace of God, the only side effect so far that I have is my vision is off to the left, and I have a balance issue. But the reason why I decided to come out and tell my story is because I wanted to tell it when it was right. And somebody proceeded to tell me that what I went through, it was not for me. It was for somebody else. I don't know who it's for, but this is what I can tell you. Is that pay attention to your body. If something don't feel right, act on it. And above all things, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an advocate. Get you a aspirin, get you some Bayer. Live your life to the fullest. But at the same time, never take life for granted. During that was some of my darkest time, and I still struggle with the fact knowing that I potentially may have to have another surgery. But like my brother Marsha told me, the blood works. And I know it worked. I had so many people praying for me, and I just thank God for giving me another chance. You see, I stand out here in the snow because last week, hell, it was sunny, it was hot. And look today, it's snow. Just like this weather change, your life can change in an instant. So this is my story. I know you all probably heard it many other ways, but this is coming from me. Yes, I almost lost my life. I had a heart attack and I had a stroke in less than 24 hours. And if it was not for the grace of God, and that's all it was, is from the grace of God, I wouldn't be here to tell my story. I don't know who this story is for, but whoever it is, I can tell you this. Live your life to the fullest. Pay attention to your body. And by all means, ladies and gentlemen, add an aspirin to your regimen. Thanks.